Good morning, good evening, as the case may be. Joining us for the first time in quite a while on Conversations with Jack is Sistla. Welcome, Sistla, as well as Daya from OmniFlix Network. Thank you guys for coming today. But first, before we, absolutely. But first, before we do that, I just want to say thank you to our sponsors, OmniFlix Media, who we have on the show today, and we're going to hear a lot more about. I've been promising you guys for forever that we're going to have OmniFlix on the show, and now we finally do. So thank you, Sistla, for setting this up and getting this organized, as well as Daya. Can't wait to hear a lot more about OmniFlix, but also our other sponsor is Sommelier Finance. Since the last time we've chatted, Sommelier Finance has had some exciting milestones. I think we launched Mainnet. We also raised a bunch of money, which was cool. And we've got a lot of exciting things in the pipeline there. So let's just go ahead and dive in. So Sistla, we've known each other for a while. Do you want to tell the listeners a little bit more about sort of your journey in the cosmos?
Yep. Firstly, like that and myself, we've known each other since a decade right now. And, we've been working with multiple systems, multiple organizations together, and eventually started off in 2016 independently. That was when we started our journey, working with multiple media clients. And in early 2017, we started off working with, Jack? Anything?
So I want to hear a little bit more about your life prior to Cosmos, because I've seen some of it and I think people will be interested.
Right. Sure, definitely. So about myself, I got into computers since since then been dabbling with Orkut, which was like Facebook in India and Brazil, popular there. And started off working with multiple communities. They were where those communities were where people got together initially digitally, right? And was a mod for multiple communities there. And since then, I've picked up speed cubing as well during college, and have been competed earlier in multiple national tournaments and gotten good awards too. So that that along with working on other things, open source and so on and so forth, helped me enter the tech world, and never the corporate side of things, but there was always exposure to that by virtue of the place where we are in India, South India, right? So it is in Hyderabad. So this is like a tech hub for like about 2 states, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. And we have like good engineering talent here, and that's the ecosystem that we spawned out of, right? And after that, got into a couple of startups, then started working with that in media, right? Like they were edutech startups. They were bought out by investors and so on and so forth. Then gotten into media along with Daya, and that's where we got exposure primarily to the business of media. A lot of the creators, they have exposure to the content creation side, the creativity side, and so on and so forth. But personally, I'm not a creator myself. That is a designer, but I'm not a creator myself. And that's where I personally got exposure to the business of media. How the financials, how the legalities of media work, and so on and so forth. And I will tell you more about it. But we scaled, audience from about like single-digit million, almost no audience on YouTube, to about 1 billion people, month on month, every month. So that was in about 3 years, and we like built systems to be able to handle content, data, so on and so forth. So
I want to let Daya chime in on this one, because that story is incredible. And the way that you tell it, it's so matter of fact. And, it happened. And like, this is the way that it happened. But, your story is really incredible. And it's a credit to both you and Daya and the work that you guys have put in. And just to like hit some of the high points there, scaled an audience from 1 million to 1 billion, and worked directly with a ton of content creators. And, I think a lot of people in the West probably don't understand what that means and how that would happen, because a lot of this has happened in India. So like other audiences don't have that familiarity. But Bollywood is this huge content creation farm, and there's a number of places in India that are making massive amounts of video content. And there's a number of issues with localization because India has so many different languages, and the content management systems needed to help manage and sustain terabytes upon terabytes of information is what Daya and Sistla have been working on for years. And I remember the first time, Sistla, you showed me what you guys had been working on. I was like, wait, what? That's insane. So, Daya, do you want to tell us a little bit more about that and sort of like the tech world that you guys came out?
Yep, definitely. So, as Abhishek was, thinking about the past, that when we met and things around. So, we met around 2011, I believe. So, prior to this, I used to work. I used to do a bit of freelancing, and once in a while. At the same time, we have worked on a P2P file sharing side. So that's how the love towards the whole cryptography or the protocols started back then for me particularly personally. And then after moving out of the freelancing and working on our own platform, so we met during 2011 and we started working with a couple of companies. Then we ended up with the media tech. That's when in 2012, I believe. So we started building out OTT platforms for the local language that the firm that we were working had a huge ton of library, like around 5,000 films, you say, from around 4 South Indian languages and things around. So we started making a catalog, and we started distributing it in form of OTT plus other digital platforms like YouTube or things where you could make revenue out of. So while doing all of this, we export a lot of tech while making sure that we distributed tons and tons of content. We scaled, because there was it was time where I was part of the company when it was, and when me and Sistla exited there, it was 300 people. So imagine the scale that we had to be on toes to make sure that there was everything in terms of technological support and things around. So yep, that's the time we got to see a lot of things, how creators end up making their revenues, or what kind of percentages do they share with the platforms, or the distributor, or sort. So then we came across a lot of rights. That's where the media has to deal with things. If not, things will end up in a bad state for the creators. So we had a lot of ideas and we wanted to do so many things, but it's a company, right? It's not an idea. It's not an open source project or sorts. Then we discussed among ourselves, and we had to quit, and we had to come out and start our own outfit, which is Cosmic Tech Labs. That's the research and innovation labs that we founded in 2016. We have a lot of interest towards the way how the Cosmos works, the Cosmos team works, and things happen inside the Cosmos ecosystem, or the ideology of the whole universe, as in the Cosmos. So the first time we heard about Tendermint, we were like in love, and whole composability and the IBC and the dynamic nature of the consensus or the governance made hooked on, and then we started exploring. That's when me and Sistla and the team started contributing to Sentinel or a couple of other projects in the open source. And then from 2018 we started focusing majorly on the media tech that we wanted to build, because we were pretty occupied with a lot of projects during the phase like 2016 to 18. Then we made sure that we have to get ourselves out of the hall of projects, making sure that there were teams that are taking care of on the development side or the sort of marketing side, I believe. Then the current state where we are today is FlixNet, as a lot of development has been went into the last couple of years in terms of making tools, dashboards.
So I think that's kind of a good time to transition. So you guys have this legacy tech business that you guys have been working on for a really long time, and I think like a lot of entrepreneurs around the world, you see Web3, you see what's happening in blockchain, and you're like, okay, how do we transition over to this new phase and bring our audience with you and bring our audience with us? So I think that's probably a good time for you guys to tell me, so what's been going on the last 2 years? Because I've seen some of it, but haven't seen all of it. And I think the audience would love to hear more too. So what have you guys been building for the last 2 years?
Tired of cold calling?
Right. So we primarily started working with multiple media companies. Here it was partners, that had, various requirements. They had a lot of content that was not monetized. They had, they had to be able to distribute or monetize rights, in clever ways, so that, we made the most out of whatever was available, and so on and so forth. So we started working with studios. So we realized, like, working with independent creators, it'll take a lot of time for us to be able to build that traction, and having
totally, like, working with me takes a ton of your time.
No, not at all, not at all. It's fantastic to work with you. You do
Thank
most
you. I
of these
appreciate
things,
that.
right? Like, most of the people, and
Yeah.
So, but yeah, even in that case, right? Like, we made sure to partner up with people that already had content, access to talent. Like, copyrighted content is key here, because
Yeah.
when we are going digital, we needed those rights to be exploited well. And if we have access to legit content, or not legit as such, but copyrighted content, and when we are safe on that side, we are sure as to how best we can distribute. So started acquiring, like, started talking to them, told them about Web3, but of course they had Web2 problems, not yet digitized, and so on and so forth. And we started working with each of them to be able to build internal systems, to increase their efficiency. That's where we realized, like, the need for private chains, being able to have, that internal audit trail of everything, and, where your stakeholders could interact, and so on and so forth. So from there, we, made sure to work on, a public chain model where we could accommodate both these sovereign chains, in the Cosmos hub and zone model, and then, plan it out. So, we've been working on the blockchain part since, mid 2019. 2018 to 19 was when we planned things out, and 2020 was, of course, Game of Zones, and it was an amazing experience. Participating, like, we got through the peak of COVID, with by working on Game of Zones, and just being able to work on that idea and put it out, and even with mobile internets and so on and so forth, we were able to pull it off, and it was fantastic.
It's really wild. It's been a blast over the last couple of years. Game of Zones, one that a lot of people don't really talk about, but I think it was really pivotal in getting IBC to market. There's no way we would have done it without that. And a lot of lessons learned there.
He appreciated how the Cosmos team pulled off Game of Zones. So that was fantastic as well. Yeah,
Balaji. It's a name I haven't heard in Cosmos circles quite a bit, but I do love me some Balaji. He's a big Blockstack person too. So, like, you guys are getting close to launching OmniFlix, right? Do you want to talk a little bit about what the feature set at launch is going to be?
Yep, definitely. So that I'll take this. So
Sure. Wow.
Sure. So we've been working with studios and multiple record labels, publishers, game development companies. We were able to fortunately cover the Osmosis launch in a version of the Metaverse. Then we had
that was hilarious. I remember seeing that. I was like, this is amazing.
Right. So that was one of our very first experiences, being able to pull that off. Special thanks to Daniela and the entire Osmosis team. It was, I think, about 4,400 Osmo that were given to people that participated in an interactive video, with 13 questions. And it was at the time, I think, $26,000. And, that was amazing. Yeah, all good.
Oh, my video. Anyway. It's a nice camera, but I feel like I'm always futzing with it. Anyway, sorry. I'm sorry that I distracted you. So so you guys did the Metaverse launch with Osmosis, and
Osmoverse, Hack Atom. We were making sure we work with events as well. We built the infrastructure, for Cosmoverse.
I was real bummed not to see you at Cosmoverse, by the way, both of you.
COVID restrictions and things. So definitely.
I know.
We didn't expect the event to. If in case we wanted to plan as well, but
I think that the Persistence team had to spend like 3 weeks flying through different countries in order to get to Cosmoverse.
That's right.
I totally understand why you guys didn't come. But anyway, sorry. Back to that launch feature set.
Right. So yeah, it was an amazing, launch event as well, where we worked with the partners to get the Metaverse world ready and launch it. So, what we are building, as OmniFlix, is a P2P network for creators and communities, right? So sovereign communities here, DAOs, that eventually might manage themselves, being able to engage their community and so on and so forth. So, we've worked on apps, at an app layer, deployed juno.omniflix.co, working with the Czech network. Just today we launched it for Comdex. So, we are making sure that we build this infrastructure, public goods, that anyone can actually utilize, and then bootstrap their networks. This, like, we have Big Dipper, that any chain technically launches. Now, as soon as they, launch the chain, right? Like, just to explore.
Yeah.
Just like that, right? We wanted to have, omniflix.co be an open source tool that anyone can utilize to get people to interact with the network. Staking, delegating, undelegating, redelegating, and of course participating in governance, right? So these are the apps. So we've got these ready. Now we are building, we have built out the protocol, the oNFT standard, the OmniFlix NFT standard, and the marketplace. Here we are making sure that IBC tokens are supported to be able to purchase NFTs on the OmniFlix marketplace, right? And not just Flix, of course, most IBC tokens that we connect to will be able to build their NFT community without actually having to do anything on their own chain, right? So being like preserving that aspect of their own chain and having that extra utility of building an NFT community, building communities can be validators. We look at validators as a community. Jack, like, we worked with you to be able to implement the token gated system, right? So these are apps that we're looking to build out and launch for the network, and from a protocol standpoint, we're working on the OmniFlix NFT standard. Of course, we'll be able to support the CW721, the Inter NFT standard, and so on and so forth. Eventually, on the OmniFlix, protocol, right? Like on the OmniFlix hub, which will be connected to multiple studios, game development companies, and so on and so forth, publishers that will eventually end up utilizing the OmniFlix hub not only for their, the oNFT standard within their chain. They might have a marketplace on their own chain, safe KYC, AML marketplace, while also utilizing the OmniFlix hub to be able to route and connect to the wider blockchain.
Cool. So that makes a whole ton of sense. And, I think you guys are going to be some of the first ones to launch NFT products on Cosmos. There's this sort of a little bit of a race right now between a bunch of different protocols. The Secret Network folks have their own NFT stuff going, and they've seen some early success with that. But I think that, sort of more purpose-built NFT apps are right around the corner between you guys and Pylons. And I think there's a couple of other folks in that. When are you guys going to launch? When Mainnet? When Mainnet, Sistla?
So yeah, our Flixnet 3, that's what we are focused on right now, Flixnet 3.
Yeah.
And that'll have a campaign. We'll have all our incentivization, for the campaign, and be able to build out all the necessary infrastructure and get the people on board for a launch, with the token economics slated. So like after Flixnet 3, we aim to launch the network, bootstrapped by ourselves, right? And then once we get everyone in place, all the stakeholders in place, we aim to launch all the apps. So our apps will be functional, to a great extent. They're functional even now, right? Like, so
yeah, they are.
Yeah. So, making sure that everything is in place, is important, not only, internally, but also externally. And hence we plan to bootstrap the network, the mainnet by ourselves, and make sure to get the token economics and all in place, once every stakeholder is set and ready.
Yeah. Cool. So, I know, Daya, a big part of what you guys are planning to do with OmniFlix is to give power to creators. That's always been kind of a key part of your messaging. Yes. And, I think that what that's going to end up looking like is DAO tooling to help creators manage and negotiate with each other sort of over the protocol. Do you want to talk a little bit about those plans and sort of how you guys plan to structure that DAO infrastructure?
Sure, definitely. So the whole idea around the OmniFlix, as Abhishek spoke about, was the giving power to the creators and the communities. So, I mean, wherever creator is, it could be content creator, it could be value creator, any sorts, right? He's a creator, and there is definitely a community around them. So they are integral part, is what we believe, and they're supposed to be in harmonious and in sync together, is what we see. Because if you look at the current content markets are in the platforms, right? YouTube, or anywhere content creator could make a revenue out of.
Daya, I'm having trouble
Definitely they'll
hearing
have
you.
to lose larger revenue share to the
I think so, Sistla.
platform,
Yeah.
To be able
Internet. It's
Yeah.
always unpredictable.
to monetize and distribute on
There
top.
was a glitch there.
And
Yeah,
Daya,
we're having
what
trouble
they are,
hearing
what
you.
kind of habits they do have, in a closer aspect, or manner where they could be
There.
a part of the core. We have problem with yes. Just give me a second.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, just give me a second.
Sorry, because I want to hear this,
Second.
and I'm having trouble. It is a little bit better now. Yeah. Sorry, do you mind starting over?
I believe no, it wasn't charging.
Okay. Do you mind starting over a bit back? So we were talking a bit about sort of the DAO management stuff in OmniFlix. So I do really want to hear about this, and you started cutting out, and I was like, no. So sorry.
Definitely.
Go for it. Yeah.
So I mean, as Abhishek, spoke to you about what we're building, like we're building both the creators and the communities. We believe that both of them are, as an integral part, and they're in sync. And to be able to be in sync, there is definitely a need of, decentralized tooling that we believe is, not specific to just content creators, but everyone, every type. That's why we, onboarding, at the same time, a validator infrastructure, or things around. It could be any type of DAO is what we see. How we see all of this happening is, giving scope to content creators and the consumers to be able to, share value between them, or exchange value between them. Like if you look at it, how do they exchange? Like it could be bidding, marketplaces. It could be crowdfunding. It could be licensing. It could be minting of derivatives. It could be fractionalizing, sorts of things. So giving ability to creator, giving ability to creator to be able to fractionalize, crowdsource, and make consumers part of their brand, and own royalties at the same time. Making or betting on top of the creator is something most of the fans do. But platforms, the commercial platforms like YouTube or things around there have never led creator to engage directly with the community as well. So this is definitely going to be a shift, is what we've seen, and we have started believing this, for quite a long time, and hence the whole ideology of building OmniFlix for creators and the communities was our belief, and we are glad that we are through a bits and pieces of it, and probably end of the year or next year we'll be going mainnet. And as you asked, definitely, there are a lot of things that we're going through, and we're building, and we're trying to make sure there is a marketplace aspect to it, and there is a commercial exchange as well, without just launching something that's that might have features later. Wasn't the idea. So yep.
I mean, it's this transition from sort of platform ownership of the social graph to user ownership of the social graph is this huge story, and for content creators especially, it's critical. I mean, there's a lot of folks that make their living this way, and the capriciousness of some of these platforms in either removing content or demonetizing things is making it really hard for people to reliably do this work. And the only way to make that happen is to put the power in the hands of those creators. Sistla, you did something that made me think you were about to demo a bunch of stuff for me. That makes me really excited. So are you?
Yep. Hopefully we are.
All right. Good. Awesome.
the demo god. So
the demo gods, there they are. Be good to us, demo gods. Yes, please.
Right. So, all right. Let's try this out. What we're looking at is OmniFlix Studio, the interface for creators, studios, organizations to be able to mint and manage their NFTs. So here, they connect with Kepler, right? You can see a Kepler pop-up. I'm just quickly approving it. So you can see assets and communities here. So when we look at, the infrastructure we're building for assets, it is primarily being able to manage media assets, non-fungible tokens, and so on and so forth, as well as communities. When we look at communities, apps like juno.omniflix.co, check.omniflix.co, comdex.omniflix.co, all of these will be part of these communities where you can be a part of multiple communities and engage with them, right? So let's go to assets. Here we should be able to see my assets, NFTs, collections, right? And you should be able to see all the assets along with the current owner, if they've been sold, list options and so on and so forth. So I should be able to mint an NFT, go ahead into a collection. I can select a collection, right? I can enter a recipient. So if you're looking at certificates, tickets, and so on and so forth, we should be able to mint directly to a specific individual. It can be HR teams within a company that's appreciating people so for their work or their performance. So all of these can be possible right within the app, right? And transferability, of course, this represents if it is a non-fungible token that's transferable or that's non-transferable, right? So with this, certificates, tickets, all of these that might not want to have this transferability can go ahead and be able to mint that way. So let's see, there's a Kepler pop-up. I select high fees, just click the approve button. Hopefully this is quickly minted as an NFT. Yeah, there you can see.
Look at it.
Right. So you should have the NFT ID, and the collection ID, of course. I can go ahead and list it, in Flix, Atom, Blue CH3, and
Sentinel, right?
Panel 3, right? So
isn't that DVPN?
Yeah, that's right.
Yes,
Blue
yes,
is
Blue is.
we are
Blue.
Yeah,
That's
we're
a
huge
better
fans of
token name.
Sentinel, and we've been closely associated with the team for quite some time. So
I know that. I've never heard it called Blue before.
Yeah, Blue is probably representing
Blue
Blue is that hotness.
Blue Fin gang.
Listing it in Flix, just approved the Kepler transaction, right? And all right, within my asset library under listed NFTs, for 35 Flix, I see it listed, right? I can go to the OmniFlix marketplace, and after I hit refresh, I should be able to see our NFT listed for 35 Flix, right? Because I own the NFT, I can't buy it. That's not possible at the moment. But you should be able to see other NFTs, priced in Atom or so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and buy an NFT, with an IBC token. Here, I can check out my Flix. I have 127 Flix, Sentinel, blue tokens in one channel, blue tokens in another channel, right? I can check out my IBC tokens, right? I can quickly go ahead and deposit. We kept the experience quite similar to how it is on Osmosis, so that people are familiar with it, and it doesn't take time for them to learn. So let's see.
The deposit feature I really like. Like, that's a really good way of explaining IBC for users. I think that's
definitely
nice.
It has been very helpful, to be able to see how other applications in the ecosystem take things forward, and that is the power of how we grow together, right? So that has helped us quite a lot. So we have about 200 tokens in channel 2. Let me see if I can deposit 50 tokens. I have 1700 tokens
you
in
got
the
you got some Sentinel over there,
right?
Right.
So quickly approving the transaction. Shit, I forgot to increase gas, but okay.
How's I wonder how the relayer is going. Transaction sent, relaying in progress. Let's go.
Right. So
what relay are you guys using? Hermes?
yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Okay. I got to get you on the Go relayer. Got to do a little bit more work on the Go relayer.
Right. No, definitely. Right. So hopefully we have to.
There it is. And we got some
Yeah.
tokens.
Right. So the deposit is in place. Let me go ahead and buy an NFT that has been listed by someone else with, blue tokens on channel 3. So I click on buy. Of course, 10 blue tokens. I had 250 tokens. Now I just click the calendar approve. Let's see. Yeah, it's a success. I now have 240 tokens, and I in my assets should be able to see the PUBG token. Yeah,
Yes.
Nice.
it is not listed, right? And for tokens that are not listed, you have the ability to transfer them to someone else as well. So you can technically bootstrap. I can, I as someone part of the community can ask Jack for an NFT that he has minted and maybe attach my time to it and sell it later for a higher price and bootstrap myself with tokens to mint more NFTs. And there we go.
I can't wait to make my up only Jack NFT collection. It's gonna happen.
So yeah, this is what we have been working on since quite some time, and building it for FlixNet 3, where there'll be a campaign for people to participate and test it out. Yeah.
Nice. Yep. Well, that is really exciting, Sistla, and I cannot wait to give this a try. Yeah, that's really exciting. Daya, do you have any other items that we didn't kind of cover today that you'd like to highlight?
I think definitely the demo was something that we wanted to showcase. It's just a teaser because we haven't launched FlixNet 3 yet. So probably next week we'll be launching this live, and we'll be launching an incentivized campaign around this to make sure that people who have been participating in the past 2 nets are also considered to be part of this as well. Yep, I think that's all sums up what we're doing and how we are doing.
How many validators are you guys planning to launch with?
I mean, one thing I'm happy, right? So the first FlixNet, right, we did with 1,000. We invited people who submitted 1,000, and out of which 900, came. Literally 900 launched their, node, and out of which 725 were active. During the time, we had what 771 or exchange. I forgot about the number, but otherwise, the crazy thing that we observed, all of this during the first testnet was the time and the way nodes were syncing up, how Jacob came up and he launched a relay or full seed node. He helped a lot to make sure that the enough demand was in place, or sorts of supply, making sure the demand was answered through his relays or sorts. And then in the FlixNet 2, we launched with the NFT minting and things around the ability to transfer and all. And now we have the marketplace where they can mint and make sure they also take IBC tokens as well.
So how many validators?
Validators for the mainnet, definitely we are considering around, I believe, somewhere around, we'll be onboarding 200 for sure, but definitely set where active would be, not yet defined as of now. Yes.
Cool. That's a great number.
Yeah, we'll start off with under 100 and then quickly bootstrap to
cool.
Highest number that's possible. That's like
is 200.
Yeah.
Nice.
Right. So yeah, one small point, Jack, that I think we wanted to cover, regarding the DAO. So the OmniFlix DAO is primarily, of course, backed by stakeholders that have. So all of our stakeholders that will be, participating in the network in the initial stages will all be people that utilize the tech. We worked with, we primarily work with a lot of protocol DAOs now. We work with a decentralized hedge fund, that was able to bootstrap itself with its own token, have a tiered system, the token gated system on ETH, and so on and so forth. And then we'd like to, with our infrastructure, be able to bootstrap media DAOs, right? Collectives of people that can come down together, be able to monetize content through content pools, right? Like people that create playlists are not incentivized, in this world today.
Yeah.
But we want to be able to, enable that where, there are a lot of collectives of creators that can actually create pools which are licensed by platforms. So all the royalties, the fractionalization, the rights that are issued as derivatives. So once a creator figures out that they need not monetize the entire asset, and they can just monetize a single right like that, like have 300 different rights, monetize 300 different rights. They won't ever go back to selling a single asset in its entirety, or as a whole. So they'll eventually end up selling rights or specific permissions to do specific things, maybe to put up in a metaverse gallery and so on and so forth. Some things are permissionless, they are not controlled, but other things definitely can be controlled. So this has been what we were looking at. And along with this, right, we aim to have like global DAOs that are, say, for example, regional DAOs in countries like maybe India, of course, Africa, and so on and so forth, that can enable the collectives of creators within their location, territory, and be able to bootstrap networks and operations, within there, be it creators, communities, collectors, and so on and so forth. Along with this, we'll have like a global, infrastructure, global DAOs, sub-DAOs of the OmniFlix network that will eventually, be able to contribute to the infrastructure, be it a validator DAO, a relay DAO. Jack, we heard you talk about it, and that was one of the inspirations.
Do you know how many chains have asked me to put Relayer DAO on their chain? It's like everyone at this point.
Definitely. It's a great model for people to bootstrap operations. It's not like everyone has knowledge of everything, right? So it is important that, there is support from within the ecosystem, and Cosmos has been amazing with that, right? And it is like, through the support of everyone. I don't want to name names, but there are a lot of people,
everyone.
like people that first identified what we're doing, people that actually made sure to publish, details of what we were doing and so on and so forth, which technically helped build the community, bootstrap it, in an extremely organic way. So, using that experience, we want to have these global sub-DAOs, validator, relayer, storage, be it IPFS nodes, CR nodes, of course, compute on Akash and so on and so forth. So to be able to bootstrap these operations, these are the sub-DAOs, maybe a marketing DAO and so on and so forth, that will work directly with the entire DAO. And, we want to let it loose. We don't want to have like a rigid framework, but we want it to be, structured enough to take things forward, at least in the first 4 to 8 years, right? Yeah, that's it.
I think that's forward thinking and a good idea, because, decentralized governance, it's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag out there.
Right. And the Cosmos stack, we think, is like very well suited for actual DAO operations more than anything. DeFi is good, great, I understand. But at the same time, for specifically DAOs to be able to coordinate, collaborate, communicate, and, create value, right? Like it is very important that, this sovereignty exists and control exists, right? And that is what, attracted most of our partners too. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Right.
Nice. Well, this has been a fantastic kickoff to season 3 of Conversations, and it has me thinking of all kinds of different people to bring on. I think we need to do somebody from Juno next, and I think it needs to be Jake, or we do a Jack question and answer show. Either one. Let's circle up offline, Sistla.
That bonus episode was very good.
We'll do another one of those. Anyway, all right, Sistla. Well, time to do some more conversations with Jack to pull me out of retirement. I appreciate it, and it was really exciting to hear about OmniFlix today. And once you guys go mainnet early next year, we're gonna have to do it again. Anyway, Daya and Sistla, thank you very much for coming on the show today. I really appreciate it. And thank you again to our sponsors, OmniFlix, these wonderful folks right here, as well as Sommelier.Finance. As per usual, you will hear more soon, TM, from Sommelier.Finance. We're always in the background working away like elves. You can kind of see, but you can't really. So come check out the forum, come check out our GitHub, come stalk us somewhere. We're doing it. Anyway, thank you guys very much. I really appreciate it, and see everyone soon.
Yep. Thank you, Jack. Bye.
Thank you, Jack. Thanks for your time. Take care.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.